In today's video, I'm doing a 3-year review of my Black Bay 58 with the bracelet and Nato options. I'll share what I like and dislike about the watch. Let's get started. Tudor took the Black Bay line to a new level in 2018 by introducing the 58, an in-house movement in a more compact case size. After owning it for 3 years, what I've come to love the most are the warm hues they've added to the design. They've packaged gold hour markers with creamy lume, a matte bezel with a touch of red at 12. Packaged together gives a really nice punch of vintage. Many steel sport dive watches in the market today tilt harder towards sport. Tudor has opted to strike a middle ground of sport practicality with a touch of vintage, which is a home run in my opinion. The domed sapphire crystal helps build on the vintage appeal. It gives you the magnifying effect we're used to seeing with vintage crystals. As you can see, when angled, it magnifies the pink gold markers, making the dial captivating to look at. Practically speaking, it doesn't impair readability, but from a third-person view, it can make the dial look magnified, which I think is pretty cool. If legibility is important to you, this watch got you covered. The lume is really good, and the surface area with lume is large, so you can easily read it in the dark. On top of that, the snowflake hour hand provides a great contrast with the minute and second hands, so you never have to second guess yourself. If you're buying this watch, you get what's advertised. A no BS steel sports watch that delivers readability in a compact utilitarian case size. Speaking of case proportions, on my 7.5-inch wrist, the 39mm diameter strikes a nice balance of sports without feeling too top heavy like some of the other Black Bays. For 200-meter water resistance at this price point, they've impressively kept the thickness to 11.9mm. So whether you choose to use this to dive or desk dive, the proportions won't hold you back. Irrespective of how practically you end up using this diver, you will find yourself using the bezel more than you need to because it feels and sounds so good. The bezel has 60 click and you feel each one of them with a lot of pop. Overall, it's a joy to use and one of my favorite bezels. Compared to the Rolex Submariner, the 58's click have more pop, but don't feel as refined as its 120 click big brother. To have this level of bezel quality for a watch that retails for $4,000 US is an achievement for Tudor. When you factor that the in-house movement on the watch is cost certified with the sapphire crystal, gold hour markers and hands, I've come to the realization that the value for money on this watch is one of the best in the market today. Side note, if any of you know of a watch that presents better value for money, please comment. I'd love to review those watches. If I had to choose between the Nato or the steel bracelet, I would pick the steel bracelet because it elevates the weight and presence of the watch, makes it feel more tool oriented. But I have other steel bracelet divers in the collection, so I wear it on the Nato most of the time to create variability. But one thing to be mindful of, which I've come to dislike, is that the Tudor Nato costs $170 and the durability is not that much better than what you would get from a $40 Nato you can buy online. So if you plan to buy this watch, I would look at getting the steel bracelet option and then switching out your own Natos later. If you plan to wear the Black Bay 58 on the Nato, just be mindful that the weight will be underwhelming, especially for a diver. I know for some a lightweight tool watch is a good thing, but for me, if I buy or own a tool watch, I want to feel it on my wrist, which won't happen if you own it on the Nato. There aren't many things I dislike about this watch. If I had to pick one, it would be the bracelet for two reasons. One, the bracelet adjustability is limited and a letdown if you compare it to other Tudor watches like the Pelagos, which has amazing adjustability. Two, the rivets on the bracelet are fake. They've added these in to build the vintage appeal, but I think they could have put in actual rivets. These are pretty much the only two things I've come to dislike about the watch. In closing, I think that this is one of the best watches on the market today. The warm accents make it different to other divers in its category, If you want a steel sport 3-hander that has a nice touch of vintage and is durable, you honestly can't go wrong with this piece. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to sharing more about my collecting journey with you.